A good Thursday midday to you. Roger Hill, VELCO Weather Hazards forecaster for Wuthering Heights Consulting. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. You're looking at Wrightsville Reservoir and very dense fog earlier on this morning just to the south into the Barre-Montpelier area. This VELCO Weather Hazards outlook is valid the rest of today, Thursday, through next Wednesday, October the 18th. Utility impacts will be low to possibly moderate, with some gradient winds. These wind gusts will develop on Sunday afternoon and during the evening hours, associated out ahead of along of a significant cold front. And with this cold front, we're looking at some isolated embedded thunderstorms along and associated with the cold front, and maybe some heavy rainfall associated with that as a possibility. The tropics remain inactive for North America currently, but this could still change just yet. Excellent project weather is slated for the rest of today, Thursday, into tomorrow, Friday. Project weather returns for the middle part of next week, a little bit on the lowered confidence side that far out. Big ridge of higher pressure that's in control, and this is the ridge in the upper levels of the atmosphere, about 500 millibars or 500 hectopascals, and a little bit of a lesser ridge right here in the more southerly locations, and a very weak trough, and that's mostly responsible for a lot of the low clouds and some showers that have been across the lower Great Lakes into the Mid-Atlantic states. And we'll change it to a mean sea level pressure, and we have a big broad area of higher pressure here associated with that upper level ridge, and that's forcing a lot of these low clouds to retreat back to the south and west and then exit through the middle Atlantic coast. New England's looking high and dry. In terms of temperature, we'll put in some winds here, and our temperatures a little bit on the cool side this morning, and note some 28s and 30s and so forth. We've had a few touches of frost in some locations. Some pretty cold air resides with these areas of higher pressure. And this is going to be the case as we get into the rest of October, November, December, January, and so forth. Taking a look at the 6-hour panels here on the European model. I'm going to run these in pretty fast here. This is Friday afternoon. Tomorrow you can see the area of higher pressure was overhead, and now it's beginning to retreat. And it'll continue to pull away and open the door for a little bit of precipitation. That's some frontal genesis, a warm front in the making. And you can see that warm front beginning to pull east. And this is a fairly significant area of low pressure crossing through Ontario and into Quebec. This is taking place on Sunday. So as this weather system is fairly potent, tracks a little bit of snow up to the north. There could be some significant snowfalls to the north of our region. And then that frontal system comes blowing on through, and this will have some fairly strong gradient winds associated with the frontal passage, taking place, it looks like, primarily on Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. And that moves on out of here, and then high pressure begins to build back, even on Monday. No indicated precipitation right now, but I have an idea there could be, with this upper level trough and these cooler temperatures here aloft, 5,400 meter thickness, meaning what would fall would probably be in the form of snow versus rain. So as we watch that front moves on by, and then that's followed by the upper level trough. It moves through the region. It could be a little bit unsettled on Monday, but by the time we hit Tuesday and into Wednesday, we got this nice big ridge of higher pressure once again, forcing a lot of that cold air well up to the north of us. And that whole process, it does look like conditions are going to improve for basically Tuesday and into the middle of the week, Wednesday next week. 06E GFS ensemble, or Jeff's ensemble, looking at primarily rain here, a couple whiskers here later on with a little colder air aloft. Not to worry, I don't think this is going to be a problem. However, we are looking at a significant rainfall here, especially on as we get into the Sunday period, Sunday night, early Monday. And you can see that there. And then not a whole lot going on thereafter. Weather Prediction Center 7-day total QPF, quantitative precipitation forecast, or accumulated rainfall precipitation, The green line here is about a ½ inch. That's a ¼ inch. So drier to the south across southern parts of New England. We get up in the northern areas around the St. Lawrence Valley. Some pretty healthy rainfall with that very significant weather system I just showed you. Back to the GFS ensemble. So why is that a significant weather system? We'll take a look at the temperature. We kind of ratchet this up a little bit. Temperatures make it up to the mid-70s on Sunday. And then that cold front hits, and you can see the progressively colder air working on in. Taking a look at 1,000 millibars here, that's 850 millibars about the top of Mount Mansfield, approximately that height. You can see temperatures make a climb, and then they drop off fairly dramatically. So we rate these cold fronts by the temperature differential, and this one is a relatively significant cold front. Oftentimes, when you have significant changes in temperature like this, it's accompanied by strong winds, and indeed, we do have some strong winds slated for Sunday. So this is temperature anomalies, high temperatures during the next 1 through 5 days. Overall, still above normal, running 5 to 6 to 9 degrees above normal. And 3 days later, still moderately warm, even despite a fairly significant drop-off in temperature. These are all weighted, of course. Okay, taking a look at Sunday's European model with the wind gusts. This is valid at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. And then during the evening hours, once again, still pretty healthy winds. And these winds will be associated again with a cold front, fairly significant change in wind direction from the south to southwesterly to westerly. And very similar to what we had recently, except this looks a couple notches stronger. So heads up on that. This could be potentially a moderate event in some locations. We'll be watching it very closely, and I'll be having heads up sent out accordingly each day ahead of this event. Again, this would be Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Taking a look at the tropics, we have Ophelia. It is a Category 1 hurricane, northeast at about 2 knots, 2 miles an hour, and no threat to land here, at least for North America. In the tropics this time of year, during the month of October, where is the most likely threat? Well, it's in the western part of the Caribbean basin, especially off the coast of Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, Belize, the Yucatan, into the Gulf. Generally the eastern part of the Gulf, and then something that could come up along the coast as a nor'easter. We have nothing in sight at the moment, but this is climatology. I'm going to leave you on this note. This is the San Francisco Bay Area, of course, California, and the recent wildfires are just producing terrible, terrible low visibility in the San Francisco Bay region, and this continues from yesterday, and they're seeing very low visibility and very, very poor air quality due to all the recent fires, and this is not a good setup. It's not going to really get displaced anytime soon. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.